as part of the highlight of the ongoing Paris Olympics. On the one hand, the Chinese swimming athletes have performed outstandingly, especially involving Mr. Pan Zhangle. On the other hand, the United States has increasingly raised an accusing finger at the Chinese swimming athletes, pointing to the possibility of anti-doping violations. Now, this is against the overall background that the Chinese swimming athletes have been tested extremely frequently, and more frequently than possibly any other swimmers from any other countries by WADA. And WADA has made it very clear that the testing requirements against the Chinese athletes are completely in line with the WADA regulation, and there is no positive finding against any of the tested Chinese athletes. However, I think the accusation by the United States and to a lesser extent by Australia in particular have been constant theme throughout this Paris Olympics, raising the overall specter of continued persecution, not only by WADA. WADA has taken its position about complete compliance by the Chinese athletes with the WADA regulations, but by FBI against the Chinese swimmers and further against WADA itself. This is really weaponizing sports. It's weaponizing swimming events by the Olympics, and also politicizing the Olympic itself. And the United States even threatened to go through the US Congress to suspend the financial contribution to WADA, which actually is only several millions of US dollars, as if, for example, by withdrawing the US support for WADA, they can really force WADA to break its own rules and falsely accuse the Chinese athletes of things that they are not guilty of. Now, in this regard, allow me also to mention that WADA now has alleged that the United States actually have really abided by the WADA rule the least among all the major participating countries. And the United States normally will hold WADA at bay, meaning the US athletes are not that much tested as, for example, the Chinese athletes. And the US athletes sometimes manage to avoid WADA investigation as if, for example, they are above the WADA framework of regulations. Now, this really creates both standards and hypocrisy. And I would say one of the reasons why the United States really is singling out China is because they completely ignore the tremendous transformation in China over the past 46 years. When I was growing up as a kid, we rarely had any swimming pool at all. Now, many cities throughout China have many swimming pools. Swimming has become a very popular sport event. Many Chinese families, their parents of the kids, for example, are thrilled to send their kids to be trained professionally, in many cases, for swimming competition. And as a result of the past 46 years of tremendous amount of economic transformation in terms of economic growth, for example, general health for the Chinese population, longevity, general physical conditions, for example, of the Chinese nation, they have all been significantly improved. And swimming is just one of the outstanding sport events, for example. At this Paris Olympics, the Chinese tennis player, Jing Qingwen, got the gold medal for women's tennis single, which is unprecedented. And she has really set a good example for the younger generation of the Chinese girls who are now very excited about tennis as a game. So I hope countries like the United States and Australia should become more rational in China's outperformance and outstanding performance in swimming. And more these problems may come. They need to be well prepared to accept these realities and megatrends rather than try to accuse the Chinese athletes of things that they are not involved in.